Awesome. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm your girl, Magali. If it's your first time here, welcome to the family. So today I have a special guest, as you guys can see, Mr. Tristan Murenzi, but I would just rather have him do the introduction for himself. I don't think I'll do any justice. So welcome, Tristan. How are you doing?
Hello, Magali. Thank you very much for having me. And as you just said, I'm Tristan Murenzi. And I don't know what to say as an introduction or about who I am. But let me say I'm Tristan Murenzi and I'm a friend of Magali to start.
Okay.
And um, and I'm also the chairperson and founder of Rwanda We Want. That's my job. And I'm an economist by profession. I'm a monetary economist. And I think I'm a sort of an activist of in peace building and healing.
Amazing. Wait. Activist. Where did that come from, by the way?
Well, I do think that it has something to do with passion. I think I was always passionate about peace building, about healing.
Mhm.
Maybe due to the fact that I was born in a post-genocide nation. So I think it's interrelated in that way because growing up, I wanted to see a healed nation and I wanted to see a peaceful nation. And I
Mhm.
think I want to see a more peaceful world.
I agree. So I have a first question for you. As the chairperson of Rwanda We Want, tell us a little bit of how it started. Because I see I went on your website and I see what you stand for, but I want to know like how, what happened? How did you come up with Rwanda We Want? And what does it stand for?
Well, I think it's a long story, but I think we have time tonight. But
Yeah.
by the way, here in Kigali right now it's raining. So if there is certain instability in internet, please let me know and I will repeat.
Okay.
Well, Rwanda once started in 2015, and
Mm.
at the time I was 17. I was really young at the time, and I think time passes really fast because I'm turning 26 soon, and
Ooh,
next year,
bad
and next
Basha.
year, and
Mhm.
next year I think Rwanda I want to be celebrating our 10th anniversary,
Wow.
and well, when we started Rwanda I want, I think our plan was not really to build an organization, but at the time our plan was to have a sort of a platform for conversations. So in high school I was in a school called Glory Secondary School,
Mhm.
and we had a lot of free times,
Mm.
and in that free time young people would use it really badly, and
Oh.
and, and I wanted to do something
Mhm.
with my friends and be like, instead of you know spoiling that free time, instead of using our time in a bad way, why can't we sit together
Mm.
and dream together?
Wow.
It was literally a platform for us to be able to talk about our dreams, but also about the Rwanda we want. But
Beautiful.
also, I think we also wanted to talk about the Rwanda we want, but how do we contribute to that Rwanda we want?
Mhm.
Obviously, we're kids, we're young and naive. So
Mhm.
little did we know that, just sitting together and talking about our dreams was not enough.
Mhm.
So, and we started introducing a sort of topics to discuss about. So, and most of the topics were about leadership. So what if one day we take leadership roles? How are we going to be? What kind of leaders are we going to become?
Mhm.
So, and we would obviously invite our lecturers to tell us about the current policies for us to be able to debate about them, the leadership of the school. And little by little we also started inviting the leadership of our country, both on the local and the central level,
Beautiful.
to come and talk to us.
Mhm.
But obviously when we graduated, I think I was growing up, but also with my colleagues, obviously. But
Mhm.
something happened and made us, in a way, choose to change the direction of the institution.
Mhm.
When I graduated, on the same day when I received my high school results,
Mhm.
because when we finish high school here in Rwanda, we do what we call a national examination. So and normally we get results 3 or 4 months later.
Mhm.
So it was in the end of February,
Mhm.
on 28th,
Mhm.
and 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 I received my high school results.
Mhm.
But in the same night, or after midnight, a little bit after midnight, because it was already 1st of March,
Mhm.
my father passed away.
Mhm.
And then when my father passed away, you know, I was sad, like anyone would be sad if they lost their father.
Mhm.
But here in Rwanda, when we lose someone, we do something in Kinyarwanda we call Ichiriyo for 7 days. In English, I think it's a vigil.
Mhm.
And then during that time, people are talking about, how my father really helped a lot in the healing and social cohesion journey of Rwanda. And most people are saying, how are we going to continue achieving that? How
Mhm.
are we going to have his legacy continued? And in my perspective, I was like, why can't I do something? Well, I'm a young person, even though I don't have any background in psychology, but I do think that at least I learned from a legend. I lived with a legend. So why can't I use that opportunity I got
You were
by
raised by a legend.
exactly?
Yeah.
And
Your father was just a great man. I mean, I myself have some experiences with him when I used to come to you guys' house. And I remember, yeah, I remember very well when he passed away. It was a very sad moment for everyone who literally came across him. So I know what you're saying. Yeah.
yeah. So after the 7 days, and after I had in a way recovered,
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to my friends and tell them, even though we were doing that in leadership, but we have to realize that we're not living in a country like any other country. We're not living in a country that has never known conflict. We are in a country that has witnessed a genocide,
Mm.
and the genocide against the Tutsi that happened in Rwanda. In
Yeah.
French, we call it un génocide de proximité. This is a genocide whereby a mother was capable of killing his own children. So it means Rwanda was really wounded, and
Mhm.
Rwanda was really looking forward to have a real social cohesion. And I was like, we need to play our role as the post-genocide youth. Our parents did their role, but
Yeah.
what could be our role as the
Future
next generation, which
generation.
was actually the first? I am part of the first generation that was born after the genocide.
Yeah, we
So
are.
I was like, we need to do something. We need to play our role in rebuilding this country. We need to play our role in cementing social cohesion in Rwanda.
Mhm.
So I think the story of Rwanda I Want is really interlinked with my personal story.
Mhm.
So, and I was really lucky to have an amazing team of young people who were like-minded. We had the same vision, we had the same dreams, and,
Yeah.
and, and obviously we started. Of course, starting an organization is really hard. We're really young. We didn't have money for that. We didn't have the experience for that, but we learned little by little.
Mhm.
We looked for support here and there.
Mhm.
And today we are an organization which is what it is today. But it was not born like this. It grew up little by little, just like a kid grows into an adult.
Yeah.
So
And it is still
uh,
growing to be even a bigger organization.
we hope
Yeah.
that it
Wow.
grows.
Wow, that's amazing. That is so beautiful. And oh my gosh, I pray that everyone who listens to this interview gets inspired, especially uh, the post generation, pretty much who like us, the people who
Yeah,
are born
exactly. And
to genocide. Mm-hmm.
something is that sometimes when something really bad happens to us, like losing a parent, I
Mm-hmm.
think it should not only be something that would bring us down. We
Mm.
can use it as a trigger to bring us further,
Yes.
to in a way honor the ones we lost.
Yeah.
So I think we should use the bad things that happened to us, and somehow finding the strength in those bad things to change the world into a better place.
I agree. And I think like you said, we have to think about, the people who came before us. Like for you, you chose to honor your father's legacy. You chose to say, okay, I'm sad, but instead of me going and start, this self-destructive behaviors and join, maybe like become an alcoholic or something, let me hold on to my father's legacy. Let me hold on to the good that he did for others. Let me carry on, to do the same thing. So you chose to take that pain and that sadness and you channel that into keeping his legacy. I want to encourage everyone, like you were saying, instead of going and staying low, we should use that place of pain, and that's where actually good things are birthed too. So moving forward, how do you I have a very good question. This, maybe, I don't know if I should ask this question right now, because it's pretty much why also I invited you. You've always been so focused, I'm talking about since, we're kids. You've always been the person, that guy who is like serious. You didn't talk much, but everything you said were like on point. I just remember you not being so distracted in some, other young kids. Like for me, I was so distracted. So how do you stay focused in these times, because at least then there was less distractions, but now someone like you, Tristan, you're a young man, you are brilliant, there's so much going on for your life. How do you stay focused as a young man?
Well, first of all, I didn't plan to say this, but I think I want to say this because I want young people younger than me,
Yeah.
to never think that, there is someone perfect. We all do mistakes, and we
Oh,
all
yes.
grew up, and while growing up we do mistakes. You're talking about me being focused since I was young, but it's not the case actually, because I was not really focused.
That's what I
To be
remember,
honest with
at
you,
least.
I
Yeah.
was like any other kid. I was playing around,
Yeah.
and most of the time when people like see us being, leads and heads of organizations,
Yeah.
people tend to think, this person was, surely the first of his class, rah, rah, rah. But there were times, actually 2 times in my life, when I was the last of my class.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
and there are times when I literally repeated classes. But why do I say this? I do say this because life is not only going up like that. Sometimes we do fall. The bad thing is to fall and stay there. But dear young people following us right now, it's not like, you know, we were always the perfect kids. We're always the first of our class. No, no. I personally, had issues with my parents when I was younger, because I was going out a lot.
Oh,
Actually,
really? I
I
don't see
was
that.
going to clubs. I
Yeah.
think I went to a club first time when I was 16, if I remember well.
Oh, yeah.
However, when I was there, I was like, what am I doing here? And then I decided to be like, this is not my place. I don't feel comfortable here. And then I came back to doing the right things and everything like that. But I said this even though it was not part of the plan, so that nobody thinks that, things are,
Perfect.
going in one direction. Sometimes we slide a little bit, and it's normal.
Yeah.
What's not normal is staying there, because unfortunately this life does not forgive. Our parents forgive us, um, our friends forgive us, our loved one forgive us, but this life does not forgive us, because these mistakes we make, obviously we pay for them, because when you repeat the class you lose a year. In that year you could have done so many other things. uh, when you start off, being like, I'm drinking because it's fun. Yes, it is. However, if you continue and it becomes an addiction, and then you become an alcoholic, you will, waste your whole life. So time, obviously, we will forgive ourselves, our friends will forgive us, our loved ones. However, life will not forgive us, because we will surely get the consequences. So coming back to your question, we should always focus, because with focus, it's the only way, where we're not making life make us pay for the mistakes we do. Because focus comes from two things. Focus comes from vision, and focus comes from choice. So let me start by vision. Focus starts because you are focused because you know where you're heading. You be like, I want to do this for myself. I want to do this for my family. I want to do this for my country, and I want to do this for the world community. However, and in that vision, a vision is made of, little goals that one day make us reach that vision. And obviously, you have to set a vision that is beyond you, that is really big, so that you don't achieve it tomorrow.
Right.
Obviously, if it's that easy, you won't wake up every day. So you have to set a vision, and then when you have that vision, every day you wake up to go and fulfill that and do things that make you go to that vision. And I think that it is really important, because if I give an example on on my personal vision,
Yes.
well, I think when we decided to turn Rwanda We Want from a club to to an organization, another government organization, my vision was to make it the leading peace building organization in Rwanda. Obviously, we are not one today, but we are towards that way. And I'm sure we are better than we were yesterday. The bad thing is to stay exactly the same, but at least if you're making those baby steps and you're going towards that vision of being a leading peace building organization, it's bigger than you, and it's bigger than your organization in itself. And obviously, when we reach that vision of being the leading peace building organization in Rwanda, why not shift the vision and be like, we want to be the leading peace building organization in the Great Lakes region, and then so on and so forth. But vision drives us. And when you have a vision, obviously distractions come, but you don't give them that much time, because I'm going somewhere, and so that in that place where I'm going, I'm going to be happier than I am today. And I think that in life we're more looking for blessings and happiness, and then that vision is our blessing. That vision is our source of happiness. So number two, choice. When we choose not to focus, we get the fruits of not focusing. But when we choose to focus, we have the fruits of focusing. So the thing is, sometimes you'll be like, things happen to my life, I am a victim, always victimizing yourself, and yet you have the choice of not becoming a victim. Obviously, there are situations in which you are forcefully a victim. However, most of the situations, not all of them, obviously, most of the situations we are the ones to choose on which side to be. And obviously, when we make the right choices of focusing, we become happy. We achieve our goals. However, when you choose not to focus, we lose everything, because focus is everything. Because when you lose focus, you start going in another direction that was not planned. And obviously, as I said before, you will forgive yourself, God will forgive you, your friends will forgive you, but life will not forgive you, because you will see the consequences of the choices you make.
Absolutely. And I agree with what you're saying, because even when you talk about distractions are always there. Even if you have a vision, even if you're focused, distractions do come. But it's a choice. It's like we have to make a choice to stay focused and to keep that vision in front of us. I myself have been I've made some choices before that were not, that I was never proud of. But today, like you said, God forgives you and he gives you a chance. You forgive yourself. Other people forgive you, but you still have to deal with the consequences of the decisions that you made. However, there's always a second chance to make things right. Yeah, so I want to ask you another question that actually coordinates with the first one. So what do you think that causes our generation, especially like in Rwanda, the youth, what do you think causes us to not focus?
Well, that's a hard question.
From men, what do you think that is the cause of like the lack of focus in our young men? And what do you think, and what's the solution, based on your Yeah.
in my perspective, of course, I will not have the perfect answer, but in my perspective, I think it's two things that are lacking.
Mhm.
One is people lost faith and people lost hope. And when people lost hope and faith due to circumstances that maybe I'm going to elaborate in a few,
Mhm.
you can't focus when you don't have a hope that you will achieve what you're focusing for, because you focus to achieve a vision. But if you're like, nobody ever made it,
Mhm.
and that lack of hope comes from from dysfunctional families that some of us come from. So in dysfunctional families, young people don't have hope, and I think hope is built in within the family structure. And then these dysfunctional families that sometimes parents do create for their own children affects their children. So unfortunately, before I was talking about choices that we make, however, sometimes the choices that our parents make sometimes affect us.
Absolutely.
And yet later it makes us repeat the same mistakes as our parents did before. So the thing is, hope is built within a family. When it is a functional family,
Mhm.
we all are dreamers. Human beings are dreamers. We are
Oh,
dreamers. And
absolutely.
then whenever I dream as a kid, then my parents are like, of course you're going to achieve that. Of course you're going to go beyond that. However, when you dream and the parents are like, you're always the last in your class, you won't do anything. And by the way, nobody in your family has ever achieved that. So you lose that hope
There's no
because
insight.
nobody helped you have that hope. Because we always need a support system to
Mhm.
help us
Right.
focus. We need a support system to help us, solidify that hope. And that unfortunately, that support system is disappearing because of this dysfunctional family.
Mhm.
In our case as Rwanda, it has something to do with silence. Silence, which comes from the people are really wounded from the past, and then through these wounds, the parents decide to be like, let me be silent because I don't want to transmit anything to my kids. But yet, unfortunately, these wounds and this trauma are transmitted epigenetically anyway.
Even
So
through
you don't
silence.
transmit it
Mhm.
exactly.
Mhm.
So in my perspective, uh, this history of ours that brings our parents to be silent also destroys that hope, which destroys the focus. So it's unfortunate, but it is the case. So another thing that also leads to this lack of focus is faith, as I said, and of course, faith and hope are different.
Mhm.
So what is faith? Faith is believing in a supreme being. For instance, I am I am Adventist. I'm
Mhm.
a Christian,
Yeah.
and I believe in God.
Mhm.
And and I know that what I can't do,
Mhm.
uh, God will help me to do that. So I do have that faith. So whenever I'm almost losing focus because I'm like, I won't achieve it anyway. It's really hard. You
Mhm.
feel that there is a supreme being that helps you achieve that. So you see that faith has something to do with our daily lives. Because I'm like, if I don't believe in something else that is stronger than me, that is bigger than me, whenever I tremble, who will I look up to? In
Wow.
the in the in the in the in the in the point of view of a Christian, it is Jesus, it is God,
Yeah.
and others have their own faith, but having faith is really important
Mhm.
because what makes uh, losing focus is one thing, but consistency in losing focus is another thing.
Mhm.
So the consistency comes of losing focus comes from the habits we build.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, these habits obviously are always destructive habits. Like, let me say about
Drugs.
drug abuse. Let me talk about, you know, I don't know, drug abuse, alcohol abuse,
Alcohol
all,
abuse,
all
the
these things that are really bad for us. Even
craziness.
exactly.
Craziness is the bad,
Actually, that's the word, being
yeah.
crazy in all sorts of ways.
Mhm.
Because the thing is, if you don't have that faith and be like, there is someone judging me, even though nobody is sitting with me right now,
Right.
there is a supreme being judging me. You'd be like, let me continue this habit. Obviously, the consequences will reach you, but sometimes the consequences come in the long term.
Mm.
And then people tend to be like, I'm going to be okay. Because, like, for instance, when it's drug abuse or alcoholism, these are things, these are habits that have consequences, but in the longer run, there is no short run. Yes, there is, but it's minor. The longer run is actually worse. And the thing is, when you don't have that faith of being, there is someone watching me. There is a supreme being watching me,
Mhm.
and you lose that focus, and you be like, it's okay. Let me do this. Let me do that. So I do think that focus comes from having that hope and having that faith that you need to achieve that, but also there is someone who loves me and who overprotects me who will help me achieve that. So I think those are the two things in my own personal
Absolutely.
opinion.
I want to know, do you have any current project that you are working on, and how is it benefiting the Rwandan youth? Do you guys offer job opportunities? If somebody say, hey, I want to join your organizations, do you have any program that you hire people and you give them, jobs and stuff?
Well, I think I'm never working on a single project. I'm always, working on
Yeah.
many projects. I think that, I told you about my vision when we were starting, and having, achieving that vision requires work, and
Yes,
work that is
absolutely.
innovative, and
Mm-hmm.
so we are working on projects in different ways, because in my perspective, to have a sustainable and peaceful, a sustainable peace and lasting peace, we need, a holistic approach
Mm-hmm.
of dealing with everything, from the healing side to the social cohesion to the economic empowerment, so that we use a holistic approach to make sure that we train the best citizen and the best leader for this country.
That's beautiful.
So we are currently working on three main programs, if I may say.
Mm-hmm.
One is the healing and social cohesion program that we had just concluded the pilot of it in Bugesera, and with our partners, we want to make it bigger. This program is really about helping those dysfunctional families I was talking about, to make sure that they support their children, they support their young people from these families, so that when they grow up, they're able to sustain themselves, to sustain the families they will make. But also, this would help them to have the focus we're talking about. This would help young people to be able to dream, and to be able to 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 see the good side of a family, because one of the reasons that people don't create families anymore, people don't want to be engaged in productive relationships, like, be like, I'm dating someone to be able to get married, is because they grew up in dysfunctional families. They were seeing
Trauma.
there's a lot of violence in their families. So these programs are really to support these families, so that they raise their children in the most safe and amazing environment possible. So this is one. Two, we're working on another program called Tuvivugeho, which is a program on youth and sexual reproductive health. One of the things that hinder young people to achieve their vision, mostly young girls, unfortunately, is due to making poor sexual decisions, whereby they do believe in some kind of myths. Like, for instance, in the past 1 year, we were working in the Eastern Province, whereby young ladies didn't know anything about pregnancy, whereby they would think, some of them had believed in some myth. Let me tell you, like, an example. Some of them believed in a myth whereby they say, when people have sex in the afternoon, they can give birth. And
Oh,
yet, unfortunately, they do give birth. And obviously, men,
yeah.
uh, bad men,
Use that.
toxic men, if I may call them like that,
Yeah.
lie, give them these kind of lies to be able to take advantage of them. And
Mm.
then our job really is to give the right information to these vulnerable young people who are exposed, so that we make sure they make the right decisions for their health. And obviously, unfortunately, we have cases whereby we reach in a certain area and then the young lady has already made that poor decision. Obviously, that affects their mental health. So our job in that project is to follow up and accompany those young ladies, give them therapy, support them in any way possible to help them, reintegrate society and be able to heal mentally, so that they can be able to care for themselves and to care for their new babies. And recently, I mean, currently, we are actually trying to work on um, on a program that would we have not started implementing it, but we're trying to think of a way. Yes, we have given them this sort of we have give them given them the therapy, we have accompanied them. However, how can we also give them tools to be economically independent? Because one of the tools these men use uh, is to give them the things that these young ladies don't have, to be able to take
Manipulate,
advantage of
take
them. So
advantage.
at least we're trying to give them the kits to be able to 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 go into entrepreneurship, to be able to create their own small businesses and to accompany them. But this program is still in we're still trying to figure out exactly how we're going to do it, but we're in talks with our partners and with my team and colleagues and everyone to be able to reach that. Another program is is called Birashoboka, which means it is possible, whereby we have established a mentorship hub to be able to link young people with role models, so that they can have someone to look up to. Because I told you, some of the young people are not able to dream because they have never seen someone who have achieved something they want to achieve. So our role is to bring these people who have achieved what these young people want to achieve, and show them that this is someone like you. You
Yes.
guys are from the same background. These people are not extraterrestrials. They are successful, but they are human beings like you. They are normal like you. They have passed through things like what we passed on. Like I was telling you, there are young people who want to create their own organizations, their own NGOs, like Rwanda We Want, and then they maybe in their perspective, like, if I want to create an organization, for sure I should have been the first of my promotion. But no, we show them that sometimes I was the last, or obviously sometimes I was the first, and
Mhm.
then show them that this is something possible, because there is a in our society, not even only in Rwanda, in the world, there is a lack of a sort of continuity, a sort of intergenerational dialogues, whereby the older generation of people have succeeded in some things, don't
But
go back to the
it's
young people, and hold their hands and show them the way. So our role in this program is really to show these young people the way. And we have another program which is somehow cross-cutting, called Iwachu, which is meant for young people like you in the diaspora, um, that we that we implement with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, whereby we bring all these programs in a soft of package to the diaspora. So this program, we launched it in Rome, in Rome, Italy, in 2021, and now we're preparing for the next session in Canada, but that would obviously be including the United States. So that's more of it. That's more of the programs. But personally, a project I'm working on currently, I'm writing a policy brief. I'm working on a policy brief that will inform the policy of national unity and reconciliation. And that policy would be that policy brief I'm working on will be more seeing what is the role of young people born after the genocide in this journey of healing, but also of social cohesion. So I think that's what I'm working on now. And yeah, and regarding providing
Oh,
jobs, yes, we do.
yes.
For instance, there is something that I really want, that I really fought for. Uh, when we are putting in place this kind of programs, uh, obviously, when I'm talking about maybe therapy, I'm an economist, I'm a monetary economist. I cannot, conduct a therapy.
Right.
We need psychologists for that. When we're talking about these programs on sexual reproductive health, we need midwives, we need
Right.
nurses. And obviously, so we offer part-time jobs to young people to be able to come, and their jobs are in line with the project we are implementing. For instance, when let me talk maybe about sexual and reproductive health. Uh, we normally employ fresh graduates from the university, because there is one thing that has been going on for so long, whereby whenever these young people are going to look for jobs, they'll be like, 5 years of experience, but where would they get this experience if they
Right.
have not
They
the chance?
haven't.
So in all the programs we do, whenever we need someone who has from a certain profession or who has a certain expertise, we always be like, at least we want you to be knowledgeable about the subject, we want you to have a degree in that subject, but I won't ask you for years of experience, because you need to get that experience. And if I don't give that opportunity to you, maybe someone else will not give it to you, because they don't understand your struggle and everything. So I do think that it's why that in my organization, I really don't really care that much about 5 or 7 years of experience, because I think that even experience kills innovation. Because these young people have tried things for the first time, they're innovative. So whenever I'm going to employ young people to work on a certain project, I'm more looking for someone who has good ideas, who's eloquent, who can be able to criticize, because sometimes we're only looking for experienced people, but we're not looking for people who can criticize us. And if someone does not criticize the way I do things, I will not be able to improve.
Right.
So this is what we're looking for.
Constructive. To me, I when the people say criticize, I see it. I have a form of my own version is constructive ideas or constructive advice. Because we do need, wherever you go in life, you need people who can actually look at you and see you, and be able to see your blind spots and be able to say, hey, this is not. And I think as a leader, and that's what you are, a leader, because leaders always welcome people to share their ideas as well, because you don't just see, oh, it's my way or there's no way. You are welcome to other people's ideas. So good, keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. So for people who are looking for jobs in Rwanda, and you have the right intentions and you are willing to work and bring your ideas and partner with others, and coming as you're coming with a heart of serving, reach out to Tristan. We're gonna put all the information down there. Did you attend the 18th National Umushyikirano Council? How did you feel about it, and what was your takeaway?
So yeah, I attended the national dialogue that took place at the Kigali Convention Center. And well, by the way, it was my first Umushyikirano.
Yes,
Uh,
that's good.
but I would always follow it on TV and on radio. But obviously, the experience of being there myself was amazing, and it was the first Umushyikirano that was happening from 2020 because of COVID-19. However, this Umushyikirano, or this national dialogue, had a was special in a way, because all the national dialogues we had before 2020 were leading us to the Vision 2020. And then Rwanda has a bigger vision of Vision 2050, which is a vision that whereby we will want Rwanda to be a middle income country. So this is the first Umushyikirano after Vision 2020 that was leading us to Vision 2050. So it was the first of its kind. And the discussions in Umushyikirano were interesting because we talked about health, we talked about infrastructures, we talked about education, we talked about basically everything that make this country move forward. And it was a good opportunity because citizens or representatives of citizens would give the would share their concerns with the leadership of the country and be like, this is not working well, we should improve on that. For instance, most of you who followed the Mushikirano mostly know about this question that was asked about one-stop center, that it was not operating well, and there was a really hot debate about it during Mushikirano. And yesterday, on Friday, the one-stop center was inaugurated. All the around 10 institutions, even more, merged together to have a staff there to be able to give licensing instead of going all over the country when you want to start a business. So this is one of the fruits of Umushyikirano. Umushyikirano is an opportunity for people to be able to talk about the things that are going well, to congratulate ourselves, but also to be able to look back and be like, this is not going well, we should improve, we should do better. So my takeaway is that Umushyikirano is a really nice opportunity for us to be able to do better, because mostly when people are scattered in their own places and they read reports about things that are going on, they tend to not feel concerned because they're like, this is an already done report. What can I do about it? However, during Umushyikirano, people talk about facts, and we debate, and then find a common consensus. Because in Rwanda, we have what we call a democracy of consensus, whereby the citizens talk, discuss, and then figure out what's best for us. Because we are a country like no other, because we are a country that witnessed a genocide of proximity. So we should have our own solutions of finding a consensus, but also thinking about what's best for us and what's best for the next generation.
Absolutely. Wow. So the experience was, how did you first, when you walked in, how did it feel?
Well, it was a good feeling. It was an opportunity to meet the young people. It was an opportunity to meet leaders, because in this room where Mushikiano happens, all the senior leaders of this country are there, and there is, let me say it like that, there is no protocol. You can go see any minister you want to talk to. You can go see any leader you want to talk to and be like, honorable, we wanted to talk about this. What do you think about this? And they say, okay, let me do that. Because maybe people don't know that, but people don't have phones in Mushikirano. And this is a good thing, because when people don't have phones, they tend to focus on what you're telling them, because you go and face them and be like, what do you think about this? And obviously, because they don't have a phone, they won't be distracted by anything. They just be focused on what you're talking about. So that's something that maybe people didn't see on TV, but that was really good, because when people don't have phone, they tend to only concentrate on what's important, which is what is being talked about, instead of just being somewhere else, even though we're there.
Yeah. That's amazing. I love the fact that everyone is welcome to share their ideas and it's in the open. So thank you so much for that. Another question I have for you is share at least one or two life advice for our young Rwandan men in regards to their personal development and the development and the advancement of our country.
Well,
life advice.
I think it's somehow related to what I was saying earlier.
Actually,
but I'm going to talk about two main things that I think make us successful in my perspective. One is making the right choice. Two is being consistent. let me start by choice and then I'll go to consistency. Making the right choice, you know, is being like, okay, I have this path I can take, and I have this other path I can take. Which path will lead me to where I want to go? And then when you have decided exactly where you want to go, be consistent. Because most of the time you're like, okay, I have decided this, but then tomorrow you decide something else because your friends told you, oh, that dream is too big for you. Oh, that is unachievable. Be consistent, because consistency is having a plan without consistency, it's literally not having a plan. Because when you make the right choices and be consistent about those right choices, obviously you reach very far. Unfortunately, in most cases we see people who make the right choices, however 1 week later, 2 weeks later, they have changed. And also be able to assess ourselves. This is something else, because most of the time we tend to continue moving and be like, oh, I'm surviving, I'm living day to day, I'm paying my bills. And then you don't in a way stop and assess yourself and be like,
Yeah.
where am I coming from? Where am I heading?
Mm-hmm.
What have I done right? What have I done wrong? What should I do better? And then self-assessment is the most important thing that we need if we want to achieve success. uh Let me talk about something that is not that important. you know for instance, I wanted to lose weight because I was not obese, however I was overweight. And obviously that was really bad for my health. And then I decided to start that journey of changing everything, including what I eat, including my habits. And then when I started the first week, I did not get any results, obviously. Second week, no result. However, because I was consistent, 1 month later, I started seeing the results because of consistency. And due to the results I got from that consistency, I wanted to achieve more. So I continued achieving more. And then last week on Monday, I was officially I officially left the overweight category.
That's good.
I had
That's good.
I
That's
had
amazing.
I had an amazing meeting with a nutritionist
Yeah.
who made who consulted me and has seen everything.
One needs to be.
However, obviously my choice was weight loss, but I didn't know what are the things this choice I made, with this good choice I made, was going to bring me. Because I mentally, due to being healthy, due to the fact that I was on diet, I was doing exercise, it also improved my mental health. This kind of
Tell
job
us
we're
about
doing,
that. Yes.
yeah, this kind of jobs we're doing is really demanding. Traveling a lot, never being at home. It's always, you're always
So much going on.
making decisions, you're meeting deadlines. It's a lot. And then it was in a way draining me, if I may call
Yeah.
it like that. However, when I started that diet, when I started doing exercise, I feel happier. I
It's a way
feel
of giving yourself
more,
back.
exactly. I
Back to
feel
yourself.
more hopeful, because whenever you do that, yesterday I made the challenge of walking from Kigali to Bugesera, from the city to another province, which
Walking
was
there.
yeah, walking, literally.
Wow. Yes.
Walking and jogging, which was around 30 kilometers. And when I achieved that, I was really happy. And that happiness in a way touches our mental health and be like, oh, you can achieve this, you can achieve this. Because this is a really short-term goal, but that gives you strength to achieve any other long-term goal.
Okay.
So that came from consistency. And then that consistency, even though it was consistency on one specific choice of being healthy, but that really improved my mental health. I really feel better. And obviously, when you have a good mental health, you have better relationships with your colleagues, with your family, with your friends, with
Yeah,
your
the
partners and everything.
Mhm.
So it was like I made one good choice, and then and I was consistent, and it gave me better results.
And it leads.
And this is why I'm advising young people, fellow young people, to make the right choices, but be consistent about those choices, because obviously
Mhm.
our future self will thank us for those
And
choices we made.
implementing physical exercise in all that
Yeah.
you do. I'm telling you, my life obviously changed too when I understood the importance of exercising, like working out, because I think everything we do, we are giving out. We are giving out. But when you take time to do exercise, you are giving back to yourself. I want to hear if you have any comments on what is going on, the current situation between the DRC and Rwanda, and how important do you think as the youth, we need to be involved in what's going on with our countries, and how can we be a positive voice in our generation?
Well, unfortunately, what's happening in East DRC is really sad, because it's more like a repetition of what happened in Rwanda in '94, and it's happening now.
Mhm.
And and unfortunately, if we don't raise our voices as young people, history will ask us about that, because in the future, history will ask us, what did you do? At least maybe you're not able to go and intervene in the DRC, but at least speak up, and then the ones who are able to act will be able to act,
Yeah.
because it's really sad to see that some people are being killed just because of the way they were born, because nobody ever decides to be born in a certain way. We just find ourselves there, and then seeing that people are being killed just because they speak in Nyarwanda, it's really sad, because it's not like they have committed any crime. It's not like they want to even, they're not even involved in politics, they're just there, and then they're being killed. It's really sad, and we should not let this go, like,
Like we
and
should.
and unfortunately, all this is, I think we reached this situation after people believed stereotypes for so long. I
Mhm.
was in exactly that part. I was in Eastern DRC in 2018 for work. I was in Goma, then later I was in Kinshasa, and then I remember one waiter lost his phone. When he lost his phone, automatically, like, he was saying in French, "Je suis sûr que c'est les Rwandais qui l'ont pris," because we were the only. I was with a colleague, and we were the only two Rwandese in that hotel, and I was like, "How can you have, you know, these kind of stereotypes of being like, oh, if I lost someone, it is a Rwandese. You don't know me. Maybe I'm a good person. Maybe I'm a bad person. But you didn't judge me because of the way I acted in that hotel. You judged me only because of
Who
the language I'm speaking, of how I'm looking, of where I'm coming from, and yet it doesn't have anything to do with the things I did. Unfortunately, this is one person, but many people believed in that, being like, if someone speaks in Rwanda, they are enemies of our people, and yet it doesn't have anything to do with that, because there are people who speak, I don't know, Lingala or Swahili, who are not good people, and there are people who speak the same language who are good people. It doesn't have anything to do with our backgrounds. It doesn't have anything to do with our ethnicity or our language. It has something to do with the choices we make, because it is very sad to even see that young people are being involved in killing other people. I'm sure that if we face that one person and ask them, why are you killing them? They probably don't even know. They're just doing it for doing it. And it's very sad. And then there is a quote, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that was said by Nelson Mandela, which talks about that what is more hurting is not the the words of your enemies, but the silence of your friends. So Let's not be those silent friends. Let's speak up. Let's condemn that ethnic cleansing that is happening in the DRC, because it's not. These are not numbers. These are people who are being killed. These are destinies that are being destroyed, and we should not let that happen.
And the division, the division of just how division is like having so much power in that region is so sad, you know, coming from where we came from. Like, for example, for me, my dad was actually killed in Congo because of, you know, who he was, a Congolese, a Tutsi in Congo. And to see it going on and happening now, it's just sad. Like, you know, we as young people need to really just advocate for unity and reconciliation and peace. And I think we need to be because at the end of the day, people who are spreading this poison, they are older people. They're the older generation who are probably just gonna be.
They're even very far away. No one of them is even on the battlefield. They're just,
Yes.
propaganding, and then they're letting other people die. It's really
Yeah.
sad.
So we need to, as the youth, especially the Rwandan youth, we need to stand for what is right and move forward and speak up when things are not, you know, when things are wrong. Because we tend to be like, oh, it's politicians, I'm not gonna get involved. Or even the churches, for example, they are quiet. You know, for me, I'm just here to really challenge the leaders of churches. Why are you guys quiet about this situation? Churches in Congo and churches in Rwanda, the Bible says that blessed are the peacemakers. We are called to advocate for peace and to advocate for love and unity. But when we are quiet and silence, evil prevail. So I'm challenging everybody watching this to really push for peace and push for unity. And it's not the politicians' problem, it's our problem, because the earth really belongs to every one of us, and everyone deserves to live in a peaceful environment. So now the last question I have now, actually, it's really, I'm done with questions. I just want to ask you, do you have any words of encouragement for someone who's lost hope, or just anyone who's watching, the viewers right now?
Well, I would just say, don't be afraid, because most of the time fear makes us, lose confidence in ourselves, and be like, I want to achieve that, I won't do that. However, if we beat that fear, and that fear will be beaten by action, because if we do our first step, we'll be able to do the second step. But if you don't start at all because of that fear will actually eat us from within, will kill us from within, and then we'll not be able to fully achieve our vision, and to fully achieve our purpose in this world. And it is very sad to die with all the potential you had. It is because at the end of the day, we're all going to die one day. However, what will we leave to this world? What will we leave to the generations that will come after us? So we should not let this fear of failure stop us from doing things. Let's try and do the first step and fall down and then get back up and continue the journey. We will surely thank ourselves later for doing that.
Absolutely. Wow. Well, thank you, Tristan. Thank you for accepting my invitation. It was a pleasure. I'm gonna go and watch this, because you were literally, you were literally talking some gems, and I hope everyone who's gonna watch this will be blessed by this.